you an alley-oop to get ready. So let's go. 18. We in Black Studies. People studying about warrior spirit, about Kemetic history, about the transatlantic slavery. Those three R's are those three program components, and the 5 R's is instilled in the Black Studies program. Then those young people are selected, or those group of people are selected into the Resurrection Study Group. So what kind of teachings and learnings are y'all doing in the Resurrection Study Group? What do y'all study? How do y'all learn together? What is some of the stuff y'all do internally that like help us understand some of the non-traditional approaches that y'all was engaging that led to like how beautiful y'all have grown? Like gives people some insights on what was the teaching like? What was y'all studying? How did y'all share leadership? How did y'all learn internally? You know, that can go from social purging. I heard you talking to personal purging. It can go to study. So just give us a little window inside of a couple of resurrection internal sessions in 80, 89, 90, and like let people know like how y'all like a learning and why, how that kept building, where people can get a sense of what non-traditional means outside of some of that like just language and non-traditional.
I'm gonna jump a little bit, bro. Dr. Green,
go for it.
But I'm gonna bring it around because that's a loaded question. You know what I'm saying? Because Resurrection went through a lot. Like today, we could talk about it and we could, really build on its accomplishments, but it was a lot of struggle involved. Like I said, Eddie left in '91. So when Eddie left, Kishaka took the helms. But before he left, I gotta give it to him. First we was meeting on Saturdays, then we started meeting on Wednesdays, then we started meeting on Thursdays. So we meeting Saturday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. So we was getting it in. And the things that we was getting it in on was spiritual enhancement. The Resurrection Study Group got a 25-week course. And the first section is spiritual enhancement. Because inside our spiritual enhancement, before we got into liberation theology, because that's our base, liberation theology, that God's coming from the oppressed people, we got into Pan-Africanism and Afrocentricity. Because before you can actually see a God, you got to view yourself. You got to know who you are. How you look into somebody and you don't know who you are? You know what I'm saying? So you got to get into yourself first. And Afrocentricity, it teaches us how to view the world from Black lenses. You know, when you look at a TV show, when you read a book, you got to see, how does that affect me today, 2020, as a Black man, as a Black woman? You know what I'm saying? What is this overall theme in this show trying to tell me as a Black man, a Black woman? When you look at the news, when you look at the world from an Afrocentric perspective. And Pan-Africanism embraced it by saying, listen, it ain't enough to be Black. It ain't enough. You have to interconnect that with your people. And, Marcus Garvey, he had 3 components to Pan-Africanism. So once you got that world view and you could see yourself and you could see how you interact with the world as a Black man, as a Black woman, you know what I'm saying? George Floyd wouldn't have been so horrific had we been looking at ourselves from an Afrocentric perspective. We'd have knew that this type of behavior from this type of system is gone, and it's going to continue to come. But that's because we're not looking at it from an Afrocentric perspective. We're looking at it from a reactive perspective. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't believe that. Nah, but however, when you wrap that or embrace it with the Pan-Africanism, you see Pan-Africanism, 3 components by Marcus Garvey was self-reliance, self-determination, and nationhood. You know what I'm saying? Once you bring that together, it's us. And that was our spiritual enhancement on top of James Cone and liberation theology. and looking at the Bible from a oppressed view. I'm not looking at it as a heaven in the sky. I'm looking at how Jesus said, teach my hands to war. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it, his skin is bronze. It's a different view. And when we begin to see these views from our perspective, then we could move forward. And that was spiritual advancement. That's what that first part of resurrection is about. And that's how we taught. So once Eddie left, I mean, we grounded now. You know what I'm saying? At least 15. We grounded. So we got the non-traditional approach. Kishaka take leadership. Now it's mad dissension. You know, we started 25, 30. So he leave, now it's mad dissensions, it's mad splinter groups, dudes calling us all types of names, they doing this, and that hurts. And we gotta pump. We gotta continue to pump the movement and not get caught up on the prison stuff, the prisoner politics. Because we got our stomping, we got our blueprint, the non-traditional approach. So we gotta develop these political action committees. We got to maintain contact with Dr. Green and legislators, and we got to be in the forefront of that. And Devon played the big part because he worked in the law library. You got to remember, we got to get copies. We sending stuff out. You know what I'm saying? All of that plays a part. So, and that's what Resurrect. All of us had different lines, like Devon in the law library. So we need something done, copied, legal work. That's the strategist. It was him and Little Infinite. They was in the law library. Me, I was in grievance. I was in grievance and Click. Jamel was in building 12. Anything going on? You know what I'm saying? So each member of Resurrection was in a specific part of the building that it needs to be done. We could do. We had our own number system, our own alphabet. And these was what kept us together in our camaraderie. And also, after you complete your 25-week course, that Kwanzaa will have a celebration, and you'll get your umbrella. We had an emblem, resurrection on top of the umbrella, Pan-Africanism going down the side. But we had a nice emblem, and you get your leather umbrella once you complete the course. So it was a lot of mechanisms that kept us together. You know what
Keep going, big bro. No, that's Teresa just walking through. Keep going.
I mean, one of the most beautiful parts is that we always looked out, like when you came into the class, it was always, you gotta hug everybody. You know what I'm saying? It was always like mad love. You come in class, boom, 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 boom. Everybody, and it's love. You know what I'm saying? You felt the electricity. And what brought it together was just like, yo, man, we got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Attica, it didn't happen in a vacuum, but Eddie Kibaka, he was in C block when Attica jumped off. So he looking at this through the window. And you got to remember, at this time, Eddie is like 20-something years old. He a young dude. He ain't the Kibaka, you know, people know now. He's a young dude. He the youth. So he watching this shit through the window. Attica, they drop bomb, tear gas, shooting. He watching this through the window. Prior to that, he Black Panther. He's an organizer, but he's young. Dude is a young dude, but he got that warrior spirit. So he see this. He leave Attica. He gets involved with the think tank. You know what I'm saying? When he involved with the think tank, he ain't got but about 4 or 5 years in. This is a young genius, man, that we don't really give him credit for. We look at his accomplishments and say, yo, that's a bad dude, but look where he came from. Look where he came. Look at his transition, even through the prison system. And then he go home and just take it to another level that a lot of people didn't understand. And me and Devon was talking about it earlier, like, the struggle is painful and deep, bro. I mean, it gets real painful. Sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just want to let go for a little while. He ain't do none of that. He never let go. He never gave up. He never took a breath for himself. Never. Until deathbed. And he pumped the non-traditional approach, and he took it on different levels. It's different levels. He took it on different levels. And I love the level of resurrection because he knew that if you infuse a mindset and oppress people that instills strength, is going to live forever. Okay? Non-traditional approach to criminal and social justice.